And we are back in Legend of Keepers, everyone. Welcome to the champion fight. Welcome to the arena. Let's see if we can survive this. Where's the orc? The orc was added over here automatically. Great. Alright. I am worried, but we can probably get through this. Let's see. Bleed, bleed, bleed. Good, good, good. Then over here we have morale, morale, and morale. So we have morale here. 1, 2. We don't have full morale build, but the fire imp kind of combos into morale build as well. It stacks penalties onto things that already have penalties. So I'm thinking about specifically demoralize then, and so it is best if we can put it in a room where we apply demoralize before he has a turn, which is together with the ice skeleton over here then. So morale, morale, and morale, which means we now need to move a morale unit over here. That'll be gargoyle, also comboing with bleeding, which means I could move another bleeding unit up here. But then I would want the orc, I think. So now we have 4 morale units here and only 1, 2 here. So now we gotta move 1 the other way, like that. I think this guy is bleeding too, though. Back and forth. Let's see. Bleeding and morale, they fill the same role. 1, 2, 3, 4 morale units. And bleeding, 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 and bleeding. 4 and 4. 1, 2, and 3. But for bleeding, 1 and 2. So we need to move a bleeding unit the other way. Yes. Assuming that this is a bleed unit, which I hope I'm right about that. Morale, morale, and morale. Bleeding, bleeding, and it will be bleeding on you. Yes. I hope Lucius is a bleeding unit, otherwise I'm screwing this up. Oh, but we need to be able to apply bleeding before this fight, but that'll be done through the trap then. This is tricky. I think this is how we're gonna do it. I want to move a unit over here, but I don't know what I would move. Maybe the imp. But he was my bleed unit over here. I'm gonna leave it as this. I think we will live. Depends on what champion and composition of the heroes here. We have both morale and good damage, so we can be flexible. Oh, and it is the druidess. Yeah. Okay, let's go through them here. We have the thug. Okay, so he's pretty low tier. No, not a passive or anything. But level 3. Yeah, so poison, and applies poison to the guy with the highest. And so then we have the druidess, who does area and nature. She has 2 passives. She removes 3 stacks from each penalty applied to her at the start of each turn. But then damage is reduced by 20% for each penalty applied to her that survives the initial removal, right? So if you can apply, let's just say we apply one thing with 4 stacks onto her, then when it comes around to her turn, then she will do 20% less on the whole nature damage up here. And so it's good if you can stack massive penalties onto her, but it's bad if you only use or get 3 stacks of anything onto her, because then she just removes it without any negative effect. And then she has an apprentice in the back doing fire and ice damage. Okay, but with no passives. This is rough. I don't know. I don't feel like we're gonna live through this. Lots of nature, so let's find some nature resistances. That'll be on the orc here for sure. Yes. That also is in... That is a bleed combo. So maybe we can stack massive bleed onto the thug, and then in the next fight have them move the bleeds over. But look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks would get removed before we get to the next monster room. So that's not going to be a thing. We might be able to remove the thug though. And taking one out would be helpful. No doubt. In the back line here we have a... he does fire damage to the front. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Look at the imp, it's floating and everything. Alright, the mods are still in an early stage. I might have to rethink that for the next playthrough. The question is whether we are going for morale. We could go for the morale. That would be like this then. Morale, demoralize. Demoralized will do nothing on the druidess. They don't have any healing. She's got high ice resistance, so the frostbite in here doesn't do a whole lot for us. Easy target damage taken from traps. Can we get to do the pile of bones? Yes, if we apply demoralize in here, we could do the pile of bones in here guaranteed. That's pretty good. So I am thinking morale build. Her weakness is fire, which we don't do enough of to be reliably good. The demoralized in here will be removed by the druidess, but it'll stick on the other two. And the other ones just do pure morale damage, which is great. So I have a bad feeling about this, but we are gonna try it out. It's gonna be... We're going to switch these two around like that because the ricochet from the fire here, I don't want it to bounce through all of them. I think we've seen now that it can only ricochet once, but I'm not so sure that that is a thing. Like, at least from the description here, it doesn't say that the ricochet would stop after one use or one ricochet if it kills the next in line. Alright. But then the demoralize here is not as good as pure morale damage. That's not really true. Because it gives initial morale damage and demoralize after. So even if this one does no more demoralize, it's just less morale damage all around. Okay. The bone catapult gives us 4 stacks of demoralized. She doesn't get to remove those stacks while she's moving through other rooms than fighting rooms. So pile of bones will be triggered here, which is kind of good. And it combos with the terrified from here. Alright, now I'm seeing hope at the end of the tunnel here. Then we need full on demoralize here, or like morale build, which we can't do, but the skeleton at least protects the other 2 units we have. Fire damage here is good against you, so let's have you tank up front. And let's see if this works out. The werewolf looks at least better than the imp, in my opinion. But they both look a bit goofy. And it's what it is. Alright. I think we will live. Knock on wood. Let's get some morale damage going here. Yeah, the other 2 guys will die pretty quickly. Or the morale damage. Oh boy, that dealt way more damage than I thought it would. I didn't really calculate it, I suppose, but hot diggity. Okay then. Now we've got terrified in here. Great. Lots of demoralized there. Intimidation here. Yeah. Is there any damage taken from traps. I can never figure out, I've never figured out whether or not this combos with morale damage, but there's no point in doing anything else in here. So let's figure out right now whether or not the snowballs here doubles damage taken from morale from traps. Which I hope it will, because then it's gonna do a massive amount of damage here. It does 68 per, which I think is more than... No, because it was already modified by Terrified, so it did not do anything extra. Yeah. It's only non-morale damage. Okay. Ah, she almost didn't get a turn here. Too bad. Fear of the Dead. I think we will, with the Master, be able to beat her here, so it's gonna be just fine. I'm going for the morale still, but I'm not sure that's the right call. Okay, the werewolf is tanky. Good stuff. Yeah. Alright, I'm confident we can do it here. How much? It's gonna be a few turns, but I have nature resistance. I could go for the bleeding and then smack her while healing off of it, but I think it'll take longer time. And so for the healing that we get... Question is whether I... Oh no, she removes stacks of penalty, so she would remove the bleeding as soon as I apply it. Not worth it. Oh, and we get more and more enraged while we're fighting here, dealing more and more morale damage each turn. So it's gonna be just fine. Run away, little hero. Champion my butt. What do we have here? This is a mouth shutter. 20% minus 20 morale and apply silence for 4 turns. Oh, I don't think I've ever had, or I think I have seen this before. I haven't used it before. Oh no, I initially thought that we would take this skeleton lord because I want to get the skeleton combo and this is the way we do it. But look at this. There's the upgrade to the magic purse, which will carry us through the rest of the game. We need this. I think I'm always an economy player, and this is how you do it. Ah, the skeleton lord. How can I not choose you? Yeah. What's done is done. We can spend money, or spend money. Great. I want to spend money then on the trainer. Fair enough. In the trainer, we can level up the wolf. Yes, it becomes kind of like the vampire at that point. Probably the modded units are a little bit broken. At least this one looks like it. They are made by different people, these two, so it doesn't necessarily overlap. And it's pretty easy, cheap to train. By the way, I don't feel like that talent that applies reduced training prices of monsters are in effect. It doesn't feel like that actually is working. Because I feel like it always costs 200 to level the skeleton soldier to level 2, but it might be 250, in which 20% is accurate, then it's down to 200, so maybe I'm just misremembering it. Oh man, I don't know. There is a lot of good choices to be made here. The vampire, I really want to upgrade you, so let's do that, and then we can afford one more, and I'm getting the werewolf. Leave. Then alchemist is interesting here because we have the magic purse now. So if we turn blood into money, we should be gaining the extra gold. We can turn blood and tears into money, and we can do it several times. 26 tears is the minimum I will go to, but this game does a little bit of extra money. Then a workout, and it says we can afford it, so I will. And we can't do the whole thing. Great. Health, regeneration, and extra power. Lovely. Alright. Yeah, I think we are still in it here. Oh, but not a lot of our guys recovered in between these two fights here, so we're gonna have to go with the same team, which I think is fine. We got Ronk back. Whew. I have a good feeling about this one here. It's fine. We have bleed up here. We would like more morale stuff if we can move one over here. Like so, because we have morale in the Ronk effectively. Ah, but not anywhere else here. Alright. Ah, so we move rock down here. Oh, the potential morale combo. Good enough. Yeah, no rest for the wicked. We gotta bring everyone here to have a chance, I think. Our master is also significantly wounded, so no chances taken. Having people burn out, though, can also result in bad stuff. Okay, so we have a disciple here, a monk type, who cannot be demoralized at all, removing penalties and stuff. Damage and morale taken from traps is lowered here. Alright, and then we have a guy here who heals morale on the heroes. So, guess what? We are not doing a morale build in this run here. Let me use the Rallying Horn, which boosts the or gives enrage to the next two groups of monsters, which boosts then both of them. So we do a ton of damage. Then the imp here might be decent. Nature resistance is pretty high across the board. We could apply bleeding and then boost that with the imp instead, which is also something I'm thinking about right now. But then we don't get to do the enraged thing, which I don't think we have anything else going in traps. So the bleed trap will have to go in here just before the boss fight, which is fine. So I think, what are we doing? We want to make this guy spend his skill though, and it's gonna be tricky. He's got good ice resistance, so you are bad. Ice to the front. Do we have any ice resistance at all? Yes, that'll be you. Okay. We can do area ice, which is decent. We got air to the backline, nature area, and this is gonna be a rough one. Yeah. I do not feel great. We can apply area nature with poison and then boost that with the imp. Not in the first turn though. I want to do the bleeding on the front with the gargoyle. And then we could have the goblin for damage to the backline. I think applying the nature, or the poison, is gonna be good for triggering this guy's skill specifically. That's kind of what I want to do with it. Because if we do the full-on bleed in the next room, and he removes the bleed in the middle of that, then we are thoroughly boned. So this is probably what we end up doing. We have area nature. Do we have anyone with nature resistance up here? Yeah, you. Okay. Air in the back line. Yes. Alright. Oh, you have even more air resistance, but so low health in this skeleton archer. This is how we do it. Then it'll be, we can do bleeding in here, which is kind of good. Right? That's the new room. And this one's good, for sure. That's the one I usually do. Then fire and fire weakness is also nice for fire combo, but we don't have that. And then we have another demoralized room here, but we're not doing morale combo this time around. Then we'll be doing fire damage to the front line here. Notice that this one is boosted right now because we got more power on the master. Right? This is master has 88 power from the workout, and that directly applies to morale and damage dealt by the spells. Not this room here, so spells only. But another reason why I particularly love to get in even more power on the master for sure. It's just 6 extra fire damage, but still. Right, and he has fire weakness, so that's gonna be great. Then here we want to do a full-on bleed combo, and it's gonna look like this, I think. Let me double check it. We're getting air damage hit on the back. So that'll be the vampire. He's best at tanking that. Look at that, with 110 hit points now for being level 3. Yeah, and we take less damage because of the frontliner here, but I might want to switch it out and do it like this, because he has ice resistance. And the skeleton... Oh, well, the skeleton has nature resistance. This guy would get poisoned because of the skill from the ninja, and I want that to go on the werewolf. I think this is the better way, even though the skeleton will be murdered quite quickly. He still goes before the monk, and the flies bleed. Would be nice to stun with the Boarman, but it is unreliable, and like I said, the initial poison damage here will be applied to him, and he's weak to it, where the werewolf is resistant. Alright. Then bleed in here, stacking on onto whatever bleed we carry over from this fight, and then guaranteeing that we will have bleed in the boss fight going already, which is great. I have a good feeling. We're also giving a rage to everyone here, by the way. Look at I like both of my monster rooms anyway, so good stuff. Ow. It's either frostbite on the front or attempt area ice, which may make him use his skill on that, is what I'm thinking. But the percentage damage on the frostbite here, even though he has resistance to it, still a percentage of 400. Like, he has so high health always, so it's pretty good. And we want to get him killed ASAP. So I am doing that. Bleeding applied to the front line as well. And then poison everywhere. Please use your skill, Mr. Monk. That's all I ask. He did not. Okay, so we get one extra action. Yes, good. So we get to apply more poison to everyone. So the monk will come in pretty damaged in the next room. We get to apply more bleeding here. But now it's gonna look dangerous. Look at that. It's too much bleeding means he will be removing the bleeding if he survives until his turn, of course. Which it kind of looks at this point like he might not survive that long. That'll be the hope. Yeah, this should spread the bleeding, if I'm reading or understanding that skill correctly. Let's see if it does. Yes, that is the bleeding that gets moved. And we can kill him before he gets an action. We don't have to kill him in this action. We can move the bleeds as well. And then he will die to the passives. Except then now I'm wasting the skeleton soldier's attack. Ah, dang it. Okay, but this is looking like a good fight all around. We get again to move the bleed to the next in line. And we do it again, giving him a lot of bleed in the back here. Alright. Down goes the thug. Most damage is dealt like this. And now we can... This guy does 10% more damage per stack of bleeding. And so even though he has air resistance, look at the amount of damage here we're doing. I think the vampire is going down though. Oh no, he died to the bleeding. Yep. Sounds about right. We can get the goblin drummer in here. Since we already have a bunch of air damage and he applies air weakness. This seems like it's the one we want to go with. We also are hoping to get some creature combo. This being the creature icon. The enraged application here is interesting because it takes his turn, but it's 5 enraged to all monsters of the group. So it's pretty damn good. We have a lot of stuff doing air weakness, so we are getting this in here, even though, like I said no to the succubus before, so I'll do it again. It's fine. How are we doing on time then? I think there was 2 dungeons. We can squeeze in another, surely. Alright. Event here. The R&D director has created a centrifuge that can transform hero blood into tears. Do you want to use it? For 15 blood we give 30 tears. So yeah, it's an increase. Good. A course is always nice. Let's do that. We get 2 levels on this little skeleton megas for 187. Yes, please. We cannot afford the trainer really, so let's go to the event. What do we have here? Potion of Evolution. An employee found a strange flask in a broom closet and drank it all in one gulp. Don't expect to see a growth in intelligence, as the employee seems to have gained muscular mass. +1 level. Alright, for the Skeleton Archer. Lovely. Was he already level 2, or did it get him to level 2? It got him to level 2. We cannot afford the Seminar? Huh. Alright, so it's either the Trainer, which we can't really afford, or the Plunder. So we're doing the Plunder, obviously. We can get a little bit of gold here for no risk, or we can get more gold for higher risk, or find a monster for -1 volunteer motivation. How many? 1, 2, 3. We can actually fill up the rooms now, but I wouldn't say no to another monster. This gives us not a lot. This is not worth it. So let's just, and there's no risk involved here. Let's get a free monster. What'll it be? It's one of my favorites, the Flame Eater. Perfect. Even though it's a demon, this is just such a good monster. He can do everything. He can do morale, he can do bleed, he can do fire damage. Well, he does all the things. He does massive damage while also comboing with all the stack of penalty applications, so it's just so great. He's just so good. Alright. But here, we are going into what? Veterans. And I feel like we are doing well, so I'm gonna start resting some people. Maybe we could rest the Vampire. Get the Doggo back. So we have bleed combo in here. I would love to do bleed combo in both rooms, but we're saving that for later. Hoping that I don't need it in this one. We have full health on the Slave Master. It's gonna be just great. Let's see, morale, morale, and morale, and morale. So one morale. Okay, we need to move something with morale up to the next room. We can move you and do also combo with the air, and so this is air as well. This is actually a full morale build. We can't do bleed here, but we can do with damage, so it's fine. And the thing about bleed build that we are also doing in here is that it doesn't take into consideration what the resistances on the opponents are. It just doesn't care. It blasts through all the resistances, which, yeah, I suppose it wouldn't make sense that it was modified by armor, but I do feel like bleed in general is just so strong for balance, future balance notes or whatever. I think we're doing it like we are set up here. We might want to move like the goblin down here, but why would I? Morale, morale, and you can combo with morale, and you can combo with morale. So can you. Maybe we'll do it like that. So we have fire combo in here. A little bit anyway. We can just... No, we can't get fire... Oh yeah, this is the one where we can apply fire weakness if we really want. Okay. Good, good, good. I have a good feeling about this run. Let's see what we get for heroes, though. They can always mess us up, those stand heroes. And all their do-goodery. We have a Berserker up front, which is one of the worst. Absolutely. And he has low morale, but then he has passive morale protection, so it's basically the double, which means it doesn't make sense to go for morale build. This guy has morale heal, and it cannot be demoralized. And this guy heals morale for everyone passively. Guess what? We are not going for the morale build in this run here. Alright, we can do a lot of air damage. Air damage is low, air damage is high, and air damage is low. So, we can go and justify air. This is physical front, air back, fire front. Okay, physical and fire front. Okay, I don't think we have anyone protected against both. 4-man, now level 3. Damage dealt is increased by 100% if the target's armor is negative, which it won't be here because the barbarian is so strong. So we probably will just be trying to stun him here more than anything. So now we're not doing air combo, but we could do air damage. Or we go like this. we go before them in most cases here. We have air taken to the back line. The little goblin drummer will be absolutely eviscerated by the berserker. That's nothing new. Most people are. The only question is, will he last long enough to take that blow? Because I think the fire damage here will kill him before that happens. 43 times 35% negative. Oh, but increased by also 30% from the barbarian. So the thing, yeah, so it's absolutely a splat from the scholar onto the goblin. It doesn't make sense to have the goblin drummer up front. Alright, so then we ask ourselves, is it better with the boar man though? The boar man would survive the initial barrage from here, so yes. Yes. Which means we don't see the ricochet, but I think, well, he might live through the berserker's attack. Yeah, I think he might even do that. And then he can try to stun the berserker, which will be a lifesaver if it does. This guy is blasting the backliner with air, which is low. And you are blasting everyone with air, which is decent across the board. Or do we do something other than the Naga here? We could have the Goblin shooting at the backliner. We could try to take out the backliner quickly. What are we doing here? The problem is the second room is usually front-loaded, like damaging the front guy. And it looks like that is the case again, except for the Yeti, but he's got ice resistance. He's got fire resistance. Damn, I hate the berserkers. They are so freaking strong. He's got low nature resistance, but we can shoot with nature at the front here. Oh, I think that is the answer then. Instead of the Naga, I want to do some proper damage to the berserker. Try to get him weakened a bit. Yeah. The goblin, though, is so freaking weak. Yeah, but it'll have to do. Then Rallying Horn here is actually not that bad. That would give us Enraged on the Master as well. Gonna do that. The thing about the Berserker also, I did talk about this earlier, but here we go again, because it's been a while. The Berserker has high armor, and the main way we do damage with the Master is with applying bleed and then using our physical damage on the frontliner to then also heal ourselves. And the real killer is when you have a guy like this Berserker coming in then with 70% armor, basically completely denying me dealing damage with the Master to the frontliner while he protects the other heroes, which means the Master can, if I can ever shoot through this guy, then the other guys will, in combination with him, just murder me. And I think that's exactly what's about to happen. The tiredness here would be so bad on my Master as well. So, in short, we gotta kill the Berserker. If we can kill the Berserker, we win. Before we get to the boss fight, or my boss. So, let me see here. I think we're doing air to the back is best on you. So like this. Bleed on the front, and stacks more bleed on. And he goes last, so it's perfect. And we also stack him bleed in here, so we get to move some bleeds as well to the next in line, but we really only care about the Berserker. But he just has so much health. We cannot go for morale though. Morale protection, morale heal, and morale heal. So it's not even a question. I can't go for the morale damage, right? So this is how we are gonna do it, and there's no other way. But we have Enraged in this group, and we will have Enraged 3 on the Master before they even start hitting me. I think we will live through it. We have full health on the Master. We apply bleed here. So, assuming we can get the Berserker low enough, we have it in the bag. The stun on the Berserker in this fight here could mean life or death. We are gonna be hitting the backliner here with some air damage. That's really insignificant, but it's the only thing the Ghost can really do. Maybe the Ghost was the wrong play here. Okay, let's get that stun, please. We got the stun! Alright. I think it will matter. Oh, it won't. Never mind, he didn't get to do a turn anyway. And now the stun is gone. Whoops. Yeah, we gotta do the Burning Whip on the front. The Show No Mercy will give us even more enraged, but they're doing physical damage to the front, which is, again, this guy is just tanking right through it. The Berserkers are really my nemesis. I need to find something that can counter this guy more effectively than we are doing. I'm doing a really poor job of that in particular. Yeah, but the bleed, the thing about the bleed is that it ignores the armor, so we stack on the bleed, full speed ahead. And hopefully it will be enough. Now he's taking 40 unmodified damage per turn. Oh, wow. No! Oh, we are dead. He didn't take his turn. So the game might have thought that he was still stunned here. Interesting. Okay, well, I can only do one thing. But I think we are dead, sirs. So that is a lot of bleed applied to these guys, which is kind of nice to see. Hopefully we can kill the Berserker, not like this. I'm gonna do an enslavement. It stacks more bleed onto him, but also to the backliners, and so next turn we will have even more physical damage on this one because of the enrage going up. Okay, I think we can do it. Oh, the tiredness though. Okay, but we're killing the frontliner now. We're gonna take a massive amount of damage, but we will live through it. Killing the next guy in line, healing for 46 while doing it. Okay, and then we kill the final guy. Okay, this could have gone worse. I got scared, but we lived through it. So now we get to upgrade one of these abilities, and it's a really tricky thing. It's really a question of whether it's gonna be morale that we focus on, or more into the physical damage that we're doing. I think since morale is already really good, the real problem we have is when we have a really strong physical hero up front. So then enslavement probably makes more sense, since it'll be better at powering through that particular thing. And applying 4 stacks of bleeding also means more passive damage. This is increasing my regeneration though from hitting people, which is pretty important. If you can get it high enough, you can imagine that we heal for more in some cases than the enemies are allowed to deal on us. And I have been in situations where it's basically end up in a hero fight and then finish the fight with more health than I started, because you can get some pretty crazy combos with that. And that combos more off of this being, look at the increase as well, is almost, what it's 21 extra damage, where this is, of course, area damage, but only 5 more bleeding damage, and then 6 more air damage. I think this is the one, even though, because we are gonna have to hit the frontliner with the physical damage eventually through that whole thing, and so there's no other way around. We gotta deal as much damage with it as possible. Alright, I think that'll be the end of this episode. Let me find out the time here. Yeah. So, I hope everyone is enjoying it. See you guys in the next episode, and bye-bye.